Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So, today we're going to have a little bit of post-commentary stuff. I'm going to do some stuff that doesn't require it to be done in real time, because you've seen most of it before. So the first thing we're going to do, which will take up the majority of the video, is we're going to land another moon lander, another reusable moon lander. And today the target location is the southwest crater. You can see me there renaming it and everything, something I forgot to do earlier. I'm probably just going to keep using this same lander rather than like switch between the two, and then the other one will be like the backup lander if anything ever goes wrong or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just doing a bit of engine testing to work out when to do my maneuver, and there we go. So I've moved my orbit down so it will go over the southwest crater, and now down we go. Pretty simple. So we fly over to it, and then as we pass over the lip we'll go into normal speed. Get ourselves in position, and we'll start decelerating at full speed. So this shouldn't take long because we have two engines. And you see, when we're doing the rest of the landing, we barely use like a third of the thrust for most of the time. So there you go. You can see we've got ourselves going pretty much straight down. It's sort of difficult to tell because, of course, the moon does rotate, though not that fast, I don't think, of course, because it's tidally locked to Kerbin, but it means that you can't be entirely sure about what exactly constitutes straight down when you're in map view. But whatever, you can sort of check it on the nav ball and stuff like that. So you can see I'm just gently slowing down at a third thrust. Really don't need much for this. I'm slowing down earlier than I need to, really. It's sort of a bit of a waste of fuel, but the way it looks at the moment, we're going to have enough fuel for 3 trips total, and like burning a little more or a little less in anything isn't going to change that. So down we go, nice and gently. Going really slow. I mean, really, I could have just landed like this fast at normal speed rather than 4 times speed. But you know, it's cautiousness and everything. We need to be able to reuse this thing. So we're down, and it's time to get out. So I get some random bits of science done all over the place, mystery goo and temperature scans and the other thing, and then we hop out. Take a surface sample and do an EVA report, plant ourselves a flag to mark the crater and the fact that we have scienced it. Of course, there is a menu where you can check what science you've harvested, so you can see what's missing. And I will have to do that eventually if I want to get gravity and science and accelerometer science and stuff like that. But anyway, that was pretty quick, so we're going back up now. We get into get ourselves an apoapsis of 10 kilometers, and then I decide to transmit my EVA report, and in a moment, once I've messed about with some, I'm going to hop out, float away a bit and do some EVA science. And I realised that not only can you do EVA science above the moon, you can do it above certain parts of the moon. So that was science for the southwest crater, and that means that there is a crap ton of science to be harvested as I make my way back towards the station. So I get myself into a proper orbit, and then I wait, and then all I have to do is go back up to the plane that the station is on. But in the meantime, I jump out and do some Midland science, and then I have to fly on a bit for anything else to come up. What I was actually doing during this episode was I had in a separate window the biome map up for the moon, so I could tell when these biomes were. So I managed to catch one of the Midland craters there, which are like medium-sized craters that are dotted around. And then we carry on a bit, and I think this is my proudest one. There's a tiny sliver of highland that I managed to grab, and then back in I go again, get that transmitted, and then a minute later we're over some other crater, northwest crater maybe, or actually no, it won't be northwest crater, it'll be something else. It's the crater that we landed in with Bill and Bob, and they are still there, frozen forever maybe. I should probably check that they are still frozen and that they can't just come back now, give us a crap ton of science. Anyway, we're ready to do a maneuver to sort out our to change the plane of our orbit. There's no more science readily available that we can grab now. Well, what biomes there are that I can get science from are in the dark, and I have no idea where they are exactly, and I can't be bothered dealing with all that rubbish, so we just get ourselves sorted, and we'll deal with that, with such things later. So we're now on the same plane as the station, and we've also got ourselves an apoapsis going almost up to it, so I extended a bit, kind of. You go a tiny bit too far, but it's really not that important. So around I go. Time warp. Time warpception, I suppose it is. And we get to apoapsis, and I start looking at ways to rendezvous with the station, but I realise that because it is behind us, and we are going faster than it, we would be wasting fuel if we were to extend our orbit out to go slower than it. Anyway, I jumped out there to try and do some EVA science. What I actually got was high over the moon rather than the crater I was hoping for, but fair enough, it was some science that we didn't get, and as we fly in low we might be able to grab something else. Let's see what we do. I'm starting to forget now. Yeah, there was some science there. I don't know what that was for. I guess a crater or another. But anyway, as we'll continue round, it's going to take quite a few orbits to catch up with it, seeing as it's behind us. We're going to have to basically lap the station, and then once we're about to pass them, we'll speed up a little bit so that we meet them exactly. And that's a much more efficient way than burning our orbit out beyond there so that we go slower and so on. So now we're at the point where we're an orbit away from, well, we're moments away from passing them really, but I sort out, well, I check at the maneuver node to see what to do, but then I actually do it manually because you can get a bit more fine-tuned with the manual thing, because you're able to use the mouse to check the exact separation distance, and you can use the keys to actually maneuver rather than having to use the mouse for everything when you're using the maneuver node, which is a pain and time consuming. Not to say the maneuver node system isn't really useful, because without it it would be a nightmare getting to anywhere other than the moon. So anyway, we're coming into the station now, just adjusting our path so that we're going straight towards it at a nice slow speed, and then we get into the right orientation, switch on RCS and start moving ourselves into position. Easy does it, and we pretty much come up on the perfect side. From a distance I thought it was the other way around because of sort of optical illusion-y stuff, but no, it's all good. So in we go, and a donk. So there we are, we're connected to the station, and now we can use the station's lab to start processing all of our lovely glorious science. So you can see there's so much text scrolling past as we transmit a bunch of stuff and process a bunch of stuff and clean experiments and all sorts of things like that. Get tons of science done. We end up using up all our power, and what we actually have to do is move the station so that our solar panels are actually facing the sun, so we can carry on transmitting at a decent rate. So we get pretty much everything transmitted, so I work on cleaning experiments, and then I also do a bit of extra science, because of course we haven't gathered all the science that we can yet from like this level of orbit, so you might as well get it done while we're in the warp mode, so we don't have to do it later on at normal speed. So there we go. Once we've cleaned all those things, I think it's pretty much done. So there we go. We've managed to conduct another moon mission, get ourselves a bunch of science. What we're going to do now is, once we've cleaned that last experiment, is we're going to hop over to something else I've got to do. And here it is. So this is Apollo 1. I don't know how, this is like more than a dozen episodes ago we put this in orbit, crewed by Jebediah, and we didn't do anything with it because I realised that there wasn't enough fuel well, I wasn't completely sure, but it looked like there wouldn't be enough fuel to get to the moon and back without it running out, and then we might die. So the mission never went to the moon. It should have been in orbit for months now, probably. Other people going to the moon and back all the time. We built space stations, and all this time Jeb has been up here waiting for the order to come down, and finally it's been given. So I slowed us down, and we start to come in over the big desert continent thing that we've got. My original aim was to try and land on or near the space center area, but sort of messed that up, as I always do. The problem is you have to try and be accurate from the other side of the planet. It's really hard. So I barely even make it onto the right continent in the end, and I in fact have to burn the engines in a bit of an awkward, weird way to try and get us over land, and then I managed to do that. And really, there wasn't that much point in landing on land, I suppose. I sort of forgot the design of the ship for a minute and didn't think about how it would land. And really, it would have been fine if it had gone in the water. But anyway, down we go. Parachutes have opened, all fine. We don't have to use the backup parachute we fitted to it. And down we go. Ding. So now we can grab a bit of science. We might as well. I mean, originally these things were supposed to gather moon signs, but of course it was not to be. So might as well get what we can from the grasslands, seeing as we can. And I accidentally plant a flag instead of doing a surface sample, so whatever. And then I try and hop back in, which is a bit more difficult than I expected. And I just sort of jump about for ages trying to work it out. Remember that I can get rid of flags, but eventually using my EVA pack I can get in. So anyway, once we've harvested the science from this, let's go and have a look at what science we've got and buy a bunch of sciencey stuff. Okay, back to normal me. So here we are in the science complex, and if we have, we'll just look at this. 503 science. We can buy some things with this. Let me see. If we just adjust it a little bit, what do we have? We've got. Well, we're going to look at this. I suppose we can buy one of these very advanced things and one of these normal advanced things. We could buy 3 of these normal advanced things. What do we? Okay, we've got big old rocket parts here. We've got command pods and such like. Oh, we've got a claw there. We've got aerodynamic bits. Probe bits, solar bit. We need all of these things really. We've also got rover bits, but we'll not go there quite yet, but we will eventually, definitely. More plane bits here, looks like. Special turbo engines and things. And then here we've got mini docking ports and all sorts of little structural things. I don't think, right, we'll not get any of the big things right now. We'll go for 3 of the small things, and then I don't know what to pick, honestly. There's too many. I want to get the claw, and I'll explain that why in a minute. And then we'll not get those yet. Maybe we'll get solar panel bits. We don't need lander bits, so solar panel bits is a candidate. The flight bit, huge bit, and pod bits. We can survive without the pod bits for now, so between the big bits, the plane bits, solar bits, we will not do planes quite yet. I think we're going to leave that a bit longer, so we will do solar bits. And let me just check what we have here actually. I know this is the good good solar panel, the Gigantor. We want to get like 4 of those on the moon station or something like that. Also, there's some more science equipment there, so we'll definitely be going for that sooner rather than later. But then we will spend our final bit of money on these big-ass rocket parts. Oh, yes. Oh, and then look at this thing. Look at that. That's the 3-meter parts coming up there. I can't wait to get all those things. Anyway, there we go. That's our science hall. So if we go back to the main base, and then we hop into the tracking station, I'm just going to show you one last thing before I go. So if we zoom out of Kerbin, you will see there's a bunch of asteroids, as there always were, but you can see I've tracked a couple more of them. So let me see, what have we got here? What's this one? This is it's a Class C here. That's going to pass by 4 million kilometers here. Let's see, there's one here, isn't there? What's that? That's a Class A. That's going to be miles away. That's ages before we get that one then. Is that the Class C I just looked at? Oh no, this is a Class A. That one arrives there. 23 million or whatever it is kilometers. So that's those 3. I think is that all 3 of the ones that I tracked. Yep. So we've got an A. Let's see what order they arrive in. We've got an A, then a C, and then missed, and then an A, and they'll all arrive in order. And then we have this one. This one's going to arrive a lot later than the rest of them. So what we're going to get an A, a C, another A, and then we're going to get this. This is a C, and it arrives in like half a year. But if you look, you will see there is no periapsis on its trajectory. that means it's going to hit Kerbin. And that means we have to do something about it. So it looks like before we will even be able to, like, go to Juna, we're going to have to build a ship capable of stopping an asteroid. We have 3 practices. We've got an A, a C, and an A, and then a C that's going to hit us. And we have to stop that C. So that's going to make some interesting things happen in future episodes. But anyway, look at it. It's already screaming down through. Look at it. It's going at 4.5 kilometers a second towards us. Well, not towards it's going relative towards it's slower, but still. Right. In future episodes, we're going to do a bunch more science. We're going to make use of all the new equipment we've got, and we are going to find a way to stop the asteroids. And until then, I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.